Hi everybody, this is Diana. Today is December 22nd. This reading is for my Sag friends. Let's take a look at the energy we have between now to end of winter. So basically from today to about end of March. Let me see. Okay, so here we have cards on the left. These three cards represent the energy you have been working with in the recent past, so the last couple months to half a year. And these three cards represent the energy that you will be working with in this, the predominant energy you'll be working with between now to about end of March. And we also have advice cards on the bottom. For the recent past, it looks like some of you went through some unpleasant things in the last 3 to 6 months, and it was a situation that almost came out of left field. You were completely caught off guard by it, and this was definitely something that you were not suspecting. Maybe it was a project that you were working on. All of a sudden, half the team left and no one gave you any warning that this was going to happen. Or maybe it was a situation where one of your personal relationships came to a screeching halt, and it's something that was just completely blindsided you. You were completely caught off guard. And this whole thing caused a lot of stress, and it was not an ideal situation. And I think at times in the last couple of months, you might even felt like, oh my gosh, what is going on? There was just a lot of fear, anxiety. And sometimes when we're going through a crazy situation where the energy was relentless, like one thing after another, sometimes we ask ourselves, oh my gosh, like, am I going crazy? Why is all this happening? And I think this is sort of the energy I'm feeling as I'm looking at this card. And I'm sorry you went through so much craziness recently. And it almost feels like a lot of you just were left feeling so exhausted, like you didn't even want to talk to people and share a lot of what's going on because it was just like a crazy ball of situation. And it seems like maybe up till 2 months ago or a month ago, things started to calm down at times. And there were moments where you felt like you were catching your breath a little bit, and you were trying to go, tell yourself, comfort yourself, and say everything's gonna work out. Things will calm down a little bit, and things will ease up. And it seems like when you've had time to reassess the situation, you made some difficult choices, whether it's to end a relationship, move out of a place, move out the apartment that you shared with a living partner, or say goodbye to something that maybe at the time you weren't quite ready to say goodbye to. But I can see that slowly it's almost like you're making peace with yourself as you're trusting your gut and going with your intuition. It's always hard to walk away from someone or something, especially when we're not ready to, especially if it happened because we were caught off guard and something was all of a sudden revealed to us. And you really are essentially had a conversation with yourself and trying to trust your intuition and take the baby steps in the process of letting go of this relationship with this partner, with this job. And it was not a easy situation that you're going through right now. And the energy is almost lingering into the current weeks and months, because energy flows. You don't just snap your finger because it's a new month and all of a sudden things change and energy all of a sudden flip 180. And I can see that at times you're still clearly processing what's been happening the last couple months, and you definitely have sleepless nights where you're just feeling anxious and stressed. And as you just feel like this nightmare is just never going to end, because a lot of times when we're going through a difficult situation, it does feel like the nightmare is just not ending. And your heart hurts. A lot of times you also have like a headache, because the pain we go through emotionally a lot of times manifest them in our own bodies. Excuse me, we'll get a drink of water. And this very much feels like you're still processing through the recent heartache. That's the energy I'm picking up. And a lot of times when we're going through a difficult situation, we all feel like there's no hope. And it's very hard to see any kind of positive energy in the midst of like literally when you're going through a nightmare. Just know that there is help and support system around you. Maybe you've had friends who've gone through similar situations, or you have a neighbor who are going through a very similar situation right now, or you have friends who have experienced such loss in the past, and your network of people, they're there to help when and if you feel ready to sort of talk about it and just talk to people. A lot of times when we go through a setback, we just want to put our heads down and almost turn a blind eye and just being self-denial, because a lot of times we feel we want to numb the pain just to make things go away and pretend like it didn't happen. It's natural process of healing, and if you're going through that stage, lean into it. Take the time you need to be by yourself. Stress eat for a day if that's what you need for that day, and just know that when you're ready to talk about it, your support network are around you. And if you have experienced like a financial setback, maybe you lost a good chunk of money in an investment, or perhaps you made a small loan to a friend that they're not able to repay. Those are, of course, natural things that's going to cause you stress, because it would be the natural way our body and our mind will respond to it. Just know that it's a process, and it's always hurtful and painful when we feel betrayed or let down. And I can see that for the next couple of months, you will be processing through that information and going through the healing journey. And the funny thing about grief is we always talk about how time is the best healer. We don't know how, when, or why it happens, but almost when we look back in retrospect, retrospectively, a lot of times when we describe a situation to our friends, we'll be like, oh, XYZ happened, and it was crazy, but all of a sudden one day I woke up and it was slowly getting better. Of course, it never feels like that when we're going through it. But I can see that, especially towards, sometime in February or March, things will start to feel better, a lot better. It's almost as if you open up your eyes from the nightmare, and the bad dream is over and all the craziness is settling down, and you will arrive at a much, much happier place. And it doesn't feel like it right now, but I think it's when you look back 3 months from now, you'll almost feel instantaneously. And of course, right now when you're watching this, you're like, oh, what is she talking about? I'm gonna feel sucky forever. And I think, let me think, January, February. Yeah, I really think by the end of February, March time, the energy field around you and how you feel mentally will almost feel like night and day. Currently, you're probably feeling like dark and gloomy in the middle of a nightmare, and all of a sudden it'll be daylight, and the sky will be filled with joy and happiness and this very peaceful and calm color of yellow, and things will get better. Things will get better, my friends. And for the advice card, let me see. It feels like within the last year or two, you have really started a mental process where you're asking yourself, this project I'm working on, is this the project I want to continue to work on for the foreseeable future? Or this house I'm living in, is this the place I want to be long term? Well, I think many of you will be wondering, my partner, is this the right fit? Do we take it to the next stage, or do we go back to being friends? There seems to be a lot of possibilities and ideas that you are thinking through and processing. And I see that you will continue to be really focused on that as you figure out your natural path in life and where you want to go. And because of recent setback and the next few weeks to next couple of months, you'll be still processing through all of that. Try to heal, try to recover, and try to feel, I guess the word is try to feel whole again, but more evolved, because we always go through setbacks and grow as human beings. There's definitely a message of don't forget to take care of yourself, because I know when all of us feel bad, there are days you just want to lay in bed, not even bother with ordering food, or definitely forget about eating healthy. It's definitely a lot about, stress eating, pity eating, a lot of junk food, ice cream, chocolate kind of day. I know we all need those, but there's definitely a message about self-care. So maybe if you already had your 2-gallon worth of ice cream, instead of, getting another bucket, perhaps go get a massage, get a nice massage, try to decompress, do a little bit of yoga session. If you don't feel like moving at all, maybe just, put on clothes and go take a nice walk outside. It's getting cooler in a big part of the country as well as the world. But there's still days where it's sunny and it's nice and the air is still crisp and it's not absolutely too freezing. Take those days, go for a walk. If you feel like you need to have a glass of wine or two, by all means, relax. But if you're on your second bottle of wine or second bottle of vodka, maybe it's time to put that down a little bit and trying to find another way to heal that will take your mind off the situation, but will contribute and add to your overall health and well-being for the long run. Of course, we all have pity parties for ourselves once in a while. Once you feel like you've indulged enough, there's definitely a strong message of pick yourself up from the floor and try to soothe yourself in a more, healthy way. That's the best way to put it. And part of the reason why you want to get yourself into a more healthy state and a more, at least physical and mental in a better state is, I definitely see more change coming for you. And these could be, get presented with different opportunities down the road, or a different project that might take you to a complete different part of the world. And I think as you get yourself to a better mental state, better physical state, to make a positive step into the right direction for self-healing, you will be able to spot those opportunities better. So for example, you just had a bad breakup and there's a new person who's coming to your life, or a friend that you have been very close with for years, but you have never really felt that kind of chemistry before. Maybe the possibility is now you guys will have more chemistry in the future. I mean, this is just an example. I'm just saying that for some of you that might be the case, But if you're on the floor crying and like with your spoon dug into the ice cream, you're not going to even realize this person is there. So as you focus on getting better, try to make baby steps towards self-care and wellness, I think you'll notice that things will change for you, probably for the better, right? And then you will be more in tune with all the changes that are coming your way. And another message that could be embodied by this card is changes are inevitable in our life, especially with the world the way it is. A lot of people are coming to a sudden realization that they need to embrace it on a different path or different journey. And of course, it's easy to be scared and just to turn our head away and not even pay attention. But there's definitely a message of embrace the change, because in the long run, you can't stay in your current predicament forever. So whatever that all of a sudden you realize that you had to let go of, whatever that experience was that you had, it served a certain purpose in that portion of your journey, and you are now taking the lesson you learned and trying to move on to embrace the next part of your chapter and the next part of your journey. And that is very much what I see. So to sum it up, my Sag friends, a few of you and a lot of you went through some heartaches recently due to circumstances that was very, very unexpected or surprising, and it totally caught you off your guard. And you will be spending, the next few weeks to a couple months to process through all that change and the drama, and really realizing that in the long term, you're definitely better off not being with that person, or not working in that project, or not staying at that job, or not staying in that city and that apartment. And know that you have friends who will be there to help you should you be willing to, 1, accept it, 2, ask for it, and 3, maybe just to share and tell people what you're going through. Because I know Sag can be very proud people. A lot of times while they're going through their difficulties, like no one even know, like their friends don't even know what is going on, because every time we see you guys, you're still like the happy chipper person. And maybe when you're alone in your apartment and crying over like a romantic movie or a bucket of ice cream, that is when you truly are admitting to yourself that you're going through the challenges. You don't have to blackcast it on social media, but if you do have a couple good friends whom you trust, you can certainly share with them what you have been going through. And just know that the suggestion for you is, if you can find opportunity, even small changes, small tweaks, try to do a little bit for self-care. So instead of, your 17th shot of vodka, maybe put on your shoes and go out for a walk. If you feel like it, do yoga. But I know some days we're just not in the right mindset to exercise at all. So, go out for a walk if it's sunny outside. Go to a coffee shop and read a good book versus eating more junk food. If you change the scenery, if you leave your apartment, leave whatever the physical environment that's you're in right now, just for a few minutes a day, you'll probably be able to change the scenery and change the mindset, all of a sudden change how you feel about things. Baby steps, definitely baby steps. And just embrace change. And it sounds really silly why you're going through a hard time, but know that changes are inevitable. And if you were to embrace it, you will be able to spot the different opportunities that will be becoming available to you. And overall, I think long-term, when you look back, this will be a period in your life that you'll remember. And maybe you can even pinpoint exactly like the week or the month your mindset start to shift and a whole new road opens up for you. And that's what I see for my Sag friends. So if you enjoyed my Sago babbling, please either subscribe and also give me a thumbs up. And I hope to talk to you guys again very soon. Have a fantastic day.